Big piece of advice I'd say is find something you love rather than something you're just interested in, because it's something you want to put a lot of your energy into. If it's something you love, once you've studied it and you know you've put that time in the right place, your career is going to be a joyous thing. But just be aware that if you're not really loving what you do, that's probably a sign, and there's someone else out there that does love doing that. So just make sure you pick that right field. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. And also to look after yourself, because there's sometimes points where you put so much pressure on yourself, you can let your mental health suffer. So I think in this day and age now, I think people have woken up to that, and that's an important lesson to take away. Okay, I discovered I could draw at primary school just because people would ask me to draw things. That was generally how it happens. When you're about this high, your friend just goes, "Draw me a dinosaur." And you go, "Oh, I quite like that. I quite enjoy it. I'll draw you another dinosaur." And it starts off in a really quite innocent way, really. You just love entertaining people with it. So I'd say it comes out of that experience as a kid, really, and it's just grown from there. I grew up in Bristol, obviously very famous for Aardman. I got a chance at school to do some work experience with Aardman, and that's where I discovered a love for animation, and I thought that was my direction. But that also luckily utilised my drawing skills. So even though the actual art of animation wasn't where my heart ended up being, the fact that I was practicing my drawing throughout that experience meant that I could quite easily, I say easily, I had to retrain quite a bit, but I could still leverage a transition into a new career. So I'd say that, yeah, find something you love, even if it's just part of that job, and at some point it'll be the right fit, I think. I think the things I've struggled with most as a kid, it was drawing faces, human faces, getting likeness down for so many different people. The weird thing as you learn to draw faces is the smallest of differences in a measurement of the mouth to the nose can make some person look recognisably them or someone completely different. And that just comes with practice. So that was probably one of the hardest things to get right first. But on top of that, I'd probably say the things I've struggled with most have been highly technical pieces of equipment where there's a lot going on, and it's very easy for those drawings to look a bit noisy. So I'd say the biggest career highlight has to be when I met the representatives from Criterion at an industry event a few years back, and made a really good personal connection there, and then lucky enough to find out a couple of months later that I was going to be working on Star Wars. I was a massive Star Wars fan throughout my life. That was probably the biggest the biggest memorable moment, I'd guess. It's kind of like realising that childhood dream. But I'd say I also worked at the National Space Centre in Leicester, and landing that job was a pretty big memorable moment as well. Probably one of the big highlights. It's a really amazing place from what I've seen. So many different disciplines. It makes me excited to see what these students are going to create. One thing I found going through my studies was that I generally only met other 3D artists or animators, and there's so many different disciplines going on. I can't wait to see what the kind of cross-disciplinary projects are. Some exciting things, I imagine. That is exactly what happens in a production scenario. At Criterion, we have multiple crafts. So we've got audio design, we have level design, we have programming, and even though we've got our own crafts, we're all expected, we know we need to come together and create one unified product that we all love. And in an environment like this, it seems like that could happen just to students, which is a great positive. It means you can go into that work experience later knowing how to talk to people from different crafts. It's really important. And I've heard from a few people upstairs that Shane Meadows has used the facilities, so that in itself speaks volumes, really. Those kind of facilities are amazing to have access to as a student. I kind of wish I had at the time, really. Like I say, really excited to see what students can create with this. I think it's a bit blasé, but work hard, play hard, I guess. That's the thing. There's always going to be someone out there who's going to work harder than you, but it's up to you to really put 100% in, because no one else is going to do it. It's up to you, but you can reach the heights that you want to in the job you're after. But also look after yourself and make sure that you take that rec time to go out and do fun things, because you don't want to be that guy that's never seen the sun for a year. Great portfolio, but doesn't go outside. That's not a good life.